Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, my name is Brijo Elise Fully Love, and I am the owner of B Elise Notary Services, as well as the Notary Education Group. We get together every Sunday now. I had to change the date. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk all things business and notary related. In today's topic, we are going to be talking about unlocking success, the crucial role of continuous professional development for notaries. All right. And that's super important. I'm going to wait a minute. I would like for you to drop in the chat or comment or whatever it looks like on your end. Let me know that you are here, you're watching, and where are you watching from? I like to know who my audience is. You have to excuse me. I just ate dinner, made me a little mixed beverage. One of my favorites is a amaretto sour. And I got some maraschino cherries in there, some Sprite, and some what do they call it? Lemon sour, something like that. I don't put a whole lot of amaretto in there. I put like maybe a little shot, and then the rest is full of Sprite and cherries and other stuff. Hi, Swan. I didn't know you were in Atlanta. Thought you were here in Florida. Well, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. I'm going live for the first time on Instagram, and I don't know if I can see the comments from Instagram, so I'm going to be popping back and forth. Or you know what? I probably could add it to my window. Oh, gotcha, Georgia. All right. Well, now I know. I'm here in Florida, in South Florida. Let's see. Let's see. So I guess I have to jump back and forth. If you are watching me from Instagram, please drop a comment and let me see if it's going to pop up on my live, what is this called? StreamYard chat window. Because if not, that means I'm going to be jumping back and forth, which is kind of sucky. I'm also going live on Facebook, which I don't normally do. But, I'm testing things out. I'm not really a G when it comes to doing this live stream thing, but I try my best, try my best not to tell my age. Let's see. All right, guys. Well, look, I'm going to get started. I don't plan to be on here long. Okay. So let's get started. What we're going to be talking about tonight is continuous professional development for notaries. Okay. That's something notaries just don't do. During the wake of the pandemic, a lot of people got into the notary business just because they wanted to make some extra cash. All right. And nobody really considered what being a notary would do. They didn't consider making it a career. It's just for most people a side hustle. All right. For me, it's my full time job. All right. So professional development is always right up there with the rest of the things that I need to do on a regular basis. All right. So I'm going to go through some different topics that I got listed here because I don't want to forget anything. So, first of all, staying abreast of industry trends. All right. That is super important. And for some people, it's kind of difficult because it's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for. Like, am I supposed to be signing up for different companies, getting newsletters, checking my email regularly, signing up to get things in the mail? Yes, all of that. Okay. How else do you expect to stay on top of any industry updates? Okay. And when we talk about our industry as a notary, we're talking about legal, we're talking about legal documents that have to do with life. All right. Estate planning, trust, things like that. Real estate. All right. Real estate is another important one that we're needed for. So we need to stay updated on those trends. You have another one where a lot of people are getting their cars repossessed or their cars towed. They need us all the time because they don't just want anybody coming to retrieve a person's vehicle, right? If you're not the person on the registration, you're not getting in the car. You're not even getting to the car. So a letter is needed to, um, a notarized letter is needed to be able to do that. Um, Citizenship, all right, travel, like all of those things we need to keep up to date with because they're ever changing. Why? Because people are still engaging in fraudulent activities. The more people engage in fraudulent activities, the more notaries are going to be needed. All right. So you got to stay up to date with all of the changes in the various industries that we um, have a touch point on, right? And the importance of staying updated is really self explanatory. But for those of you who don't know, it's important because we need to know what our role is, what type of documents are going to be coming across our desk, how to handle them, how well, every document we notarize is serious. You should always take it serious, but it's just important to know what's going to be coming across our table at any given time. Okay. Next, understanding regulations and best practices. I can't tell you guys how super important this is because I see it all the time where people take shortcuts. They just don't follow through. And best practices are there for a reason. All right. Best practices are there because some of our state statutes can be pretty darn vague. For example, I'm in Florida, right? And in our Florida statutes, it does not specify or require that we identify the witnesses that are going to be signing documents unless their signatures are going to be notarized. Well, that's preposterous, right? Why would I want to have someone sign a document, include them in my journal, and not ID them? It's a best practice that we ID every person whose signature is going to be on a document that our stamp is going to be present on. Bottom line, best practice. All right. It also says in the Florida statute that we are not required to keep a journal of all the notary acts that we perform, which is another preposterous thing, right? Why would you not want to keep record of the documents that are going to have your name on them? That is the only evidence that a person has, you and the customer, that a document was signed and notarized. Okay. So if you're not keeping record and this document is lost, damaged, they need evidence that the document existed. Your journal could be that piece that they need to move forward with whatever it is they're doing. So if you don't have a record of it, you basically screwed that person over. Okay. So this is why best practices should be utilized at all times. Okay. Remember, we are people of integrity. So we should do the right thing even when someone's not watching. All right. Let me check Instagram again, make sure. Okay. Just making sure I don't have anyone posting comments because I can't see it. All right. Next thing, strategies for maintaining proficiency. All right. Excuse me. One of the things that I share with people all the time is that I attend lunch and learns. Okay. And when I attend lunch and learns, they're not necessarily notary related. I'm happy to hear that's why. That's why I'm here for. I'm trying to share some good stuff with y'all. So I attend lunch and learns. They may, and they're mostly not about notary at all. But what I find is that when I go to the different lunch and learns, I always learn something that I can apply to my role or my job as a notary, right? So I was asked by one of my title companies if I could be a sub at a BNI meeting. And for those of you who are not familiar with BNI, let me see what it stands for before I just tell you what they are. BNI. Okay, BNI is Business Network International. Okay, it's a hefty fee to be a member, but it's very, very um, what's the word I want to use? Lucrative to be a member, okay? Because they refer within their network and they only have one person per industry in their group. So you will be the only notary in this group. It does cost though. But what my husband was explaining to me is if you are making back the money or double the money that you invested, then it's a win-win. And I said, yeah, you're right. So anyway, let me go back to what I was talking about with that. They asked me if I could be a sub, which is I will be subbing for a member who could not be present. So I said, sure, I do it. I only can stay for like an hour though, because I have some personal things going on to where my time is limited on how far I can be away from my location. So they're like, yeah, that's fine. I'll let them know. So I attended the BNI meeting. Um, I introduced myself and I introduced the company of the person that I was subbing for. They also offered lunch, but they also had people speaking and talking. And one of the things that I took away from this BNI meeting was that when you are networking, and I talk about this too a lot, your business will not thrive if you don't network. It will not. Okay. You got to get out there and network. And what the person was telling me was, or telling all of us, when you are networking with people, don't necessarily only network with your ideal client. Okay. You want to learn something about every person and what they do. Even if they're not your ideal client, there may be a way that you guys can work together. Okay. But if you never take out the opportunity to know what it is they do, then you wouldn't know whether or not they're your ideal client. Just because they don't work in real estate doesn't mean that they wouldn't be an ideal client. Just because they're not an attorney, just because they don't work for a bond agency, just because they don't work for an assistant. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn something about everyone because you can fit the pieces in where they go if you know what they do. Okay. So that intrigued me. And so I don't know if you guys are on LinkedIn and Alignable, but LinkedIn and Alignable are the business to business platforms where you can do online networking. So for those of you who, you just don't have time to get out there in person, I personally love to go in person and speak to people because I feel that helps to build a stronger relationship. But in any event, meeting people on those platforms is very good because you guys can arrange to meet face to face. Okay. You can talk one to one in the messages and you can share information with each other and you can add them to your Rolodex or your phone book or whatever you want to call it, directory. There I go telling my age again. But anyway, another thing that I like to do is I like to keep contacts of people who are in various industries because I have customers who reach out to me because they trust me to refer them to other trusted individuals. So, in my quest to network with people, I want to meet them. I want to know more about them. I don't just want to know about how they work and what work they do. I want to know a little bit about them too personally. And some people are not going to get too personal with you, but I feel that when I know a little bit about you personally, about your values and the things that you know, deem to be important, that is good to know because I like to refer people who work like I work, okay? People who kind of have the same values that I do. And I don't know if that's bias or not. You guys let me know in the comments if you think that's bias, but I just feel like I don't want to refer people who trust me. Hi, Ronnie. Thank you for joining. You're in Florida where I am. Welcome. Um, I like to know that that person is a trustworthy person because if I'm referring my customer to you, I want to know that you're going to take care of them. All right. So let's get back to my points here. Okay. So workshops and seminars, definitely attend them. How can you find workshops and seminars? I am happy that you made it. Eventbrite, Facebook groups. I tell you guys, those things are gems. You find um, workshops that are occurring every day of the week, any time of the day. And they have a whole lot of networking after, what is it? Networking after dark or networking after work or something like that, I think it's called. And so for those of you who work a 9 to 5, you can still attend those networking events. You're probably going to be tired. I mean, when I worked a 9 to 5, I would be tired too, but I had a goal. Okay. And my goal was to attend 2 networking events a month. So I would have to drag myself right from work and go to the networking event. And it was hard going, but when I got there, it was all good. It was all good and very well worth it. Another one, advanced certifications. Now, I want to talk about this just a little more because I've been seeing online where people are taking all of these extra courses, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't just be acquiring skill after skill after skill and not putting the skill to action, because that's where you mess up. Okay. Someone asked me on one of my lives, how do you keep up with all the services that you offer? Well, I make sure that I don't add a service to my portfolio until I know the service that I'm offering. I'm not just going to list that I do all these services and then I don't know what I'm doing when somebody asks me to provide the service. Okay. So it's important that you take your time. I don't want to say master, but I'm basically going to say it. Master the service before you add another service. Know that service in and out and always keep yourself updated. I was also explaining to the person I do I-9 verifications. I do remote I-9 verifications. And when I got the notification that, excuse me, I got the notification that they were going to be updating the I-9 form and they were going to be having free seminars or workshops or whatever you want to call it that you can sign up for and attend. I signed up for it because I offer I-9 verification for remote workers. I needed to know what these updates were going to be and what it looked like. They had a new form, they got new instructions and everything. So I attended the seminar. And that is how you keep up with your services. Every service that you offer, you want to master it. Okay? Because you just don't want to be that person providing the service that the customer really needs and then you botch it up. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Now, online courses. That's the easiest way, right? To get some additional skills and knowledge up under your belt. They also have in person, though. So for those of you who are looking for in person instruction, you just got to do your homework, all right, and see who's offering it. And please, I have to tell people this because a lot of people, they are on Clubhouse. I think that's the app. I was on there for a very brief moment, but I was like, I can't get with it. I couldn't get with it. And so therefore I'm not using it. But what was happening was people were getting scammed by people on Clubhouse offering online courses. And so what my response was to that is you have to do your research. Okay. You have to do your research on these people. You have so many people who they got into the notary game and their business didn't grow the way that the internet said that it would. They didn't make the 6 figures. They invested all this money and they're trying to find a way to get that money back. So they're offering online courses on things that they really don't know about. All they did was go online, watch some YouTube videos, and created a course on it. And they really have never done what they're talking about. And so they're offering the online courses and you see it and you're purchasing it and you're upset. So online courses, they're okay. Take them. Learn a new skill, add a new service to your portfolio, but do your research on the person who is offering the course, okay? Because you don't want to get scammed. And yes, Swan, yeah, you don't want to get scammed, okay, guys? All right. Next, networking with peers, sharing experiences and knowledge. Um, that is why I have my notary support group. And unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of sharing in there as I would like it to be. But That is what that support group is for. Okay. Network with your peers, network with other notaries because you never know what you can learn from them. You never know what experiences you can have working with someone else who is doing the same thing you're doing. For example, um, a person who was very close to me, actually in distance, here come my cat. She walks and meows with a toy in her mouth, like really loud. I don't know why. If y'all can hear her, it's just so funny. But in any event, he contacted me. He said, "Hey, I found you on Notary Stars, and I realized you live like right up the street from me, but I'm going on vacation, and I wanted to know if I could refer my customers to you if I get any calls while I'm away." And I said, "Yeah, you sure can." And he said, "The reason why I reached out to you is because I wanted to make sure that I send my people to somebody who's going to take care of them just the way that I would." And I said, "I absolutely would, because I am the same way. I want to refer my customers to someone who I know is going to take care of them. I don't want to work with people who just in this for the money. I just don't, because at the end of the day, the money is going to be what it is, but it's the experience that makes your customer come back. And if my customer knows that I referred them to a trustworthy individual, that's not me losing business. That's me building a stronger relationship with my customer because they know no matter what, I'm going to take care of them, whether it be me or the person I refer them to. And that is super important, guys. So don't be thinking and listening to these Facebook groups. Notaries are my competition. No, we are your peers, and you want to work with us. Even for witnesses, I could not get notaries to be a witness because they didn't want me to pay them $25. Oh, $25. I don't leave my house for less than 40. I'm like, you're not doing anything. I'm basically paying you for travel. And $25 is a lot of money for travel if I'm not having you travel far. I'm paying you $25. You're coming, you're signing the paper, you're watching my person sign, you're signing that, you're signing my journal, and I usually have them leave before my appointment. I never have them stay. So you're there all of maybe 7 minutes. Who gets paid $25 for 7 minutes of work? Somebody tell me that. So I end up having to go to two of my neighborhood Facebook groups. And I end up getting 27 people who will be willing to be a witness for me. I had everyone sign a contract, of course, to cover my butt, right? Um, and I collected their information and I have a little spreadsheet that I carry with me. So if I get a call for a signing that requires a witness or two, I have my spreadsheet, I have where they're located, I have their phone number, their email. I reach out to them, "Hey, can you be a witness in this location at this time?" They'll respond to me yes or no, and then we're good to go. So it's super important. Network with your peers, share experiences and knowledge with each other, help build each other up because we're all in this together. Yes, I had my back up against the wall. I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I use my husband when he's not working, but he's working most of the time. I use my dad, but my dad, he's a character. He really is. I'll share a story with you guys, and I'm gonna move on to my next topic. So my dad, I had him be a witness with me, and the location where I'm at, there are some of my customers who make a whole lot of money, and they live in really nice places, and they have really nice things. And when I go, it's just a job. I'm not, you know, enamored by what they. Oh my God, look at them. I'm just like, oh, another customer. I'm just going in. I'm nice. I'm polite, professional. I bring my dad with me. My dad, when we walking through the parking lot of the community, um, there was an electric car out there, and the electric car was a name that I don't know about. My dad, he's a car guy because he used to work at the plant where I'm from, and so he's like, "Oh my God, look at that car!" And he just all look at in the windows. I'm like, "Dad, come on, please, just we're going to Right, exactly. That's how my dad is. So I'm like, Dad, please, let's just go. I go to the front desk. The lady asks me what my name is, and I tell her who I'm there to visit. And she calls the person. The person comes down, meets me at the desk, and my dad he was talking to the lady at the front desk, asking her about the car, right? And the car just so happened to be my customer's car. And so I'm like, oh God, this is about to be a long conversation. So him and my dad start talking about the car, and the guy's giving him a little information and all that. So in any event, he guides us up to his place so that we can start signing these documents, right? So we get to his place. He has housekeeping, um, you know, whatever, doing whatever they're doing in there. And so we sit at the dining room table. And my dad, he just looking around. And so I got the documents out. I'm going through them. I'm powering up my journal because I have an electronic journal. I'm in my bag, getting out my pens, getting out my notary stamp. And my dad, look, 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 you see his TV? It's like a picture, and then you turn it on, and I'm like, Dad, no. Oh, I'm sorry. You here to work? I'm like, yes. And he like, oh, look, look, oh my God. I'm like, Dad. He like, I'm sorry. And so he was quiet for the rest of the time, but it was so funny because he was just like, oh my God, look at what he got. And I'm like, and then the man had a dog. So he talked about the dog. So I was just like, I don't want to bring my dad to be a witness anymore. It wasn't an uncomfortable experience, but it was just like, I don't want to go through all that. I just want to go. I want to sign the documents, talk to the customer, a little chit chat here and there, and then I want to leave. So it was imperative. It was super imperative that I find other people that could be witnesses for me. So, yes, that's what that was. All right. Now, next topic, the benefits of continuous professional development. Okay. Enhancing skills and credibility have long term advantages. Okay. And they really do because you start out learning about the service, right? Or the skill, and you grow it from there. You just continue to learn more and more about it so that you are the pro, right? You're the pro at offering this service. And there are some people, they offer several services, but they have a niche. All right. So my niche used to be the mobile notary, but now it's the online notary because I have grown my online notary service so much to where I'm doing several a day. Okay. So I could be considered a pro in doing that, right? And the more I learn about it, the more credible I become to customers who use me for the service. All right. And when I do provide the online service, I try to make sure that I provide the service the way that I would want somebody to provide it to me. I do that with all my services in my business because I think that's important. Treat people the way you want to be treated, provide the service the way that you would like the service to be provided to you as well. So today, I was a witness for someone online, and I try my best not to speak about how they should do it, but there are some times where I am a witness in the way that they are performing the service, it starts to bother me. And that's why sometimes I try not to be a witness. And I know that's bad because it's like, oh, you're supposed to help your peers, right? Yeah, I know, but you have some peers, they feel like this is the way I do it and this is the way it's going to be done. It's like, but that's not right. It's not. So the person who got online, they scanned their documents using their phone, and the scans were terrible, guys. I mean, the scans had black spots in them, shadows on the paper. They were crooked. Some of them were folded in, and the person was notarizing the documents just like that. And when I saw that, I was just like, hey, do you know that they could email you? Like, because the document, it looked like it was created on a computer, which means that they probably had a file, they probably printed it, and they were at the hospital. So they probably printed the document, brought it to the hospital. thinking that they could probably have a notary in the hospital or a mobile notary come and do it, and they end up not being able to. So they used the online notary. And so therefore they had to scan the documents in order for the online notary to have it, right? And so I'm like, did you ask them if they had the document they could email to you? And you know what this notary said? As long as it's legible. So yes, Swan. I was sitting up there looking like this is not right. When I have customers who send me documents that look like that, I tell them just send me the file, email the file to me, because we have the ability, depending on what platform you're using, we have the ability to upload the document for them right in session. And I do it all the time. If a person gives me a bad copy, I just think of it, what if that was me presenting these legal documents for my loved one to a professional? I don't, it looks bad. It just looks bad. And you should never, and me and Swan on the same page, you should never just be like, well, that's how they uploaded it. That's not best practice. Provide the service you would want provided to you. If I uploaded bad copies and you were able to fix them for me, please do it. Please help me. I'm in a situation where I need these documents, and if all you can do is add that little piece to give me peace of mind, that service that you provided earns more than 5 stars. Just that small task. And I don't like when people be like, well, I mean, that's how they, not my problem. I don't like that approach. Up, Swan, I'm a Libra. It could be the Libra of me. You know, I now if I offered and the customer say, no, I don't care, that's a different story. But I'm not just going to say, exactly. I'm not just going to say, well, that's how they did it, so I'm just going to notarize it. That's just not, it's not great customer service, in my opinion. So, yeah, you want to be a credible person, then you should be a pro. You should provide exceptional service whenever possible. All right. So, that is the end of my topics to share. Now, I would like, if you guys have time, for you to share any experiences of any of the topics I discussed with me. Drop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. Started. Okay, I don't see anything in the Insta. Let me see. I did good. 30 minutes. See, I told you I wasn't going to be long. Wasn't going to be long. So, speaking of online courses, all right, I always share my online courses with you guys because they're free. All right. Most of them are free. I have 3 courses that you pay for. One is my state required course, education course for people becoming a Florida notary, which you guys are notaries already, so you would need that. I have my e-notary in Ron Basics 101. That's a cost. And then I have my marketing, marketing mastery skills course. That's a cost, but all of the other ones are free. I always encourage people, if you have the opportunity to take a free course, take it. All right. What do you have to lose? It's free. And that takes me to, so I took the CBD course that Bill Soroka, Jennifer Nitzel, and Laura Buer put together. And it wasn't free, but because I already have paid for Laura Buer Presents library, I paid for some years ago, it was included in the library. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to log into the library. So I logged into, and the course was right there. So I took it. It wasn't anything that I didn't already know. And that's the hard thing, too. Most of these courses that they're making is for new notaries, I feel. And because some of the information that they talked about I already do, it wasn't really that beneficial for me. But after I took the course, I got the opportunity to download the certificate, which I have not shared on social media. I did share the badge, I shared it on my Google. But I've been seeing everyone on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn sharing their certificate and sharing their badge, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But um, yeah, it was just something I've already been doing for some time. But it was cool, to read some information. It was one thing in the course that they said that I wasn't doing, and so I did look into that. But which is listing yourself on a directory, pretty much. So just learning that, oh, there's a directory for that. Okay, I'll go ahead and join the directory, and I don't think it's a cost. I have to find the directory, but you know, but so yeah, if you have the opportunity, guys, to learn a skill for free, I encourage you to do so. Okay. The worst case scenario is that it was a waste of your time, but it didn't cost you anything more. So um, definitely look into my free courses. I have a notary basics 101 for new notaries who got their commission, had it for some time, and not doing nothing with it. Okay. I have a customer service etiquette because so many people need that, and a lot of people really do not. They don't take it. They figure they provide good services, and their customer service sucks. So, and I have did business with businesses where their customer service sucks. I'm like, what the heck? That was the whole purpose why I made the course, because I'm like, people really need to hone in on their customer service etiquette. If you are a business owner, customer service is super important. That is that little thing that tells a person whether or not they're going to do business with you or not, or refer people to you. Clean and clear documents are so important. Everything we do, print, stamp, scan, and mail, it's a direct reflection of the notary. You have to love what you do an outstanding job. That's what I'm talking about, Ronnie. I'm so happy that we're all on the same page with this, guys, because I like for anything that my name is on to be great. Okay. Down to how the documents look. I mean, you can imagine from what I described how those documents looked. They looked terrible. And I just felt absolutely terrible sitting here being a witness, having her put my signature on this document, and the document looked like trash. I was like mind blown. Like my mind was just like, and I asked her about it. And then, she was just like, as long as the document is legible. And on one of the pages, the words weren't legible. I was like, I'm sorry, let me shut up. And she said, thank you. She did a little chuckle and said, thank you. Girl, I was just like, oh, well, at that moment, like, what can I do? Not my customer, right? But there is no way I would have did that customer like that. I would have like, girl, just email me the file. I do that in a heartbeat. Email me the file. I'll upload it because this looks terrible. And I said that. I said, these documents look terrible. Well, they're legible. Not all of them, no. Oh, well. So, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that I talked about you want to get some more information on, or you want to share some of your experiences about any of the things that I shared? Please let me know. If not, though, I'm going to go ahead and end our live. Thank you guys so much for joining in and talking and engaging with me, because I absolutely hate coming on here and talking to myself. Like when people don't share comments like you guys and ask questions, it makes me feel like I'm wasting my time coming on here. And I don't like to have my time wasted. You are so welcome, Swan. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for my busy day tomorrow. My first appointment is online, but it's at 7 a.m. What time is it? So I'm gonna be in the bed at 10 o'clock tonight, so I can be up at 6 o'clock and be ready for this appointment. So you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys again next Sunday. If you have anything that you want me to talk about on our next meeting on Sunday, please let me know. I will be so happy to share. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye.